Voters Forum for Town Council and Mayor. My name is Florence Levine. My name is Florence Levine, and I'm the president of the League of Women Voters. The League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan organization that encourages informed and active participation in government. The League never supports or opposes candidates for office or political parties. And any use of the League name or footage from this forum in campaign materials or advertising of any kind, including internet, social media, cable, or television, is not authorized by the League of Women Voters. This forum is being streamed on YouTube and will be available there for viewing afterward. This time I would like to introduce our moderator, Dawn Clarke. She's a lead trained moderator who is not from this voting district. And she will introduce the candidates and outline the format for the evening.
Thank you. I'd first like to give some information that the League would like you to appreciate. We want to remind voters that there are 3 ways that they can vote in the upcoming general election. Number 1, you can vote by mail. Registered voters can apply for a vote by mail ballot by following the instructions found at vote.nj.gov or contacting the county clerk. Remember that vote by mail ballots cannot be returned to any early voting location or at any polling place for this election. Number 2, you can in-person early voting. This is a new deal for us. This new option enables all registered voters to cast their ballot in person using a voting machine during a 9-day period prior to election day. You can now choose to vote in person when it's most convenient for your schedule. You do have to look up on vote.nj.gov to find the locations. In-person early voting locations will be open Saturday, October 23 through Sunday, October 31. Hours will be Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and no appointment is necessary. Then we have our good old-fashioned number 3 at your polling place on election day. Vote in person at your polling place from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. on election November 2. And your sample ballot, when you receive it, will have your election polling place. But for all information, go to vote.nj.gov for all registration. Thanks. This on-again, off-again business can be a hardship. I would like to acquaint you with our format for this evening. We have a busy schedule because, as you can see, you got 10 people you have to think about. And each one of these is somewhat unique because you have 2 unexpired terms for which you need to be voting. So the unexpired terms are the 2 mayor candidates, and I'd like you to look in the very center, and you can raise your hand, but we have Stephen Dalina. and C. Martin. And each of these gentlemen, you will vote for one for an unexpired term of 2 years. And now we're going to I'm going to introduce another unexpired term, which is the council members at large. You have to vote for one of them. And I'd like Terrence Van Zura to raise his hand. And then over here we have Peter Tufano. Okay. Now we have the usual, what we would be ordinarily voting for at this time this year. We have 3 wards that have to be represented. You have to vote for one for 4 years. For Council Ward number 1, Elizabeth Schneider, would you raise your hand? Okay. And then over here we have Melody Amity Henry. Miss Henry, raise your hand. Okay. For Council Ward 2, a 4-year term, you vote for 1, Rupa Siegel. And Timothy Eosso. For Council Ward 3, we have Alton B. Kinsey 2. And Dipierro. Okay. Thanks for your enthusiasm. That's the last time you get to clap. So, and after anyone speaks, you are not to applaud. You hold your applause now to the end, okay? We got a lot to do, and we can't interrupt. So, the format for this evening, and the candidates have all drawn positions. We're going to have a 2-minute opening statement, first from the mayoral candidates, and then for the council member candidates. And then after that, we're going to a period of questions. I will ask the candidates the question, first the mayors, and then the council person. Each of the council people, everyone will answer in 1 minute. If at all needed, there will be an opportunity for a 30-second rebuttal. It's going to be hard because there's a lot of them, so we want to try to get as many questions in as we can. We'll conclude the evening with a closing statement in reverse order, and candidates will get to sum up their positions in 2 minutes at the end. Okay? Then we're going to start then, people. Let's go. I first want to ask the narrow candidates for their 2-minute opening statement. And we're going to hear first from Steve Martin. Yeah. It works.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for spending this evening with the candidates and myself. Appreciate seeing such a nice crowd out there this evening. A lot of you don't know me, so I want to give you a little background on myself. I grew up in South Amboy, New Jersey, attended Catholic school until the 12th grade, where I graduated from St. Mary's. Moved on to the U.S. Air Force for a 4-year term, which then I agreed to get out 2 years early to attend college and double my time. So I spent a little over 6 years in the Air Force between active duty and the New Jersey National Guard. After my National Guard time, I was in graduated college at Westchester University in Pennsylvania with a marketing degree and a finance minor. I went on to do my first job in the office equipment industry, which was very competitive, very aggressive type of business. And after 2 years, 6 weeks before my wedding day, I came to my wife and I said, I'm going to start my own business. So I said, either you're in or you're out. And she jumped in. She's in the back room right now after 31 years. 28 years from South Inwood to Old Bridge, and currently for the last 12 years here in the great town of Monroe. And I've moved to this town 25 years ago. I moved here because of the open space, the great outdoors, no traffic, no concrete jungle, and I raised my 3 kids here. They went through Monroe Township High School. 2 have graduated college. 1 is on her way to law school. And I have one daughter that is a senior in Monroe Township High School right now. I'm here to make sure I can do the best for my town, and I'll yield my time to Mr. Dalina.
Okay, thank you. We allow them to say their last sentence, but they can't have any run-on sentences. We're going to now hear from Stephen Dalina.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. Again, I do want to thank the League of Voters for having the event tonight. Obviously, all the candidates to be here and the citizens to get informed. I'm currently the mayor of Monroe Township. I grew up in Woodbridge Township. My family had was a family-owned business for 75 years. So that's the atmosphere that I grew up in. Went on, it was a community. My father was involved with the fire and recreation. Went on to become an elected official in Woodbridge Township. My career took me to get my undergrad degree at Rider University. I received my master's graduate degree at Rutgers University. I moved to Monroe Township in 1998 with my wife and 2 young sons. I got involved with the community, mostly with the rec program. I worked part-time at the beautiful library for a couple of years. And then ultimately, I was elected to the council in 2011. I rose to the leadership on the council as council president. And then I was lucky enough to be asked to be mayor by our township council. My first 2 priorities jumping in as mayor was obviously dealing with the COVID and the vaccine. But for me, one of the most important theories and philosophies I have is getting the community involved. Reached out to the community, made many phone calls, which previous mayors have never done before, so I got a lot of, hey, I never spoke to the mayor before, so that was very, very important to me. My theme with them is, and it's with you as well, I can't do this job by myself, and I won't do this job by myself. I need the community together. And for me, that's the theme of me being mayor. Not going to do it without you, can't do it without you, and we need a united Monroe to move forward. Thank you.
Thank you. We're now going to move on to the council members, and they randomly draw a position to speak. So don't anticipate the order. The first person we're going to hear from for 2 minutes is Elizabeth Schneider. Ms. Schneider.
Thank you. First, I want to thank the League for having us tonight. And I thank everyone for coming out. For all of those who know me, you know me as Elizabeth or Betty. Before I moved to Monroe Township, I had been an elected member of the North County Board of Education for almost 20 years. So my heart is in education. I'm very grateful how well my children have been educated, and so I will always, always have my heart in education. When my husband and I decided to sell our house, it was too big in our country, we came to an adult community, Rossmore. Even though we were working in the family business, we owned New Brunswick Travel, and we had corporate clients like Robert Wood, Sunshine Bouquet, all those bouquets you see in the supermarkets of flowers, they were our customers. But what I'm trying to say is, my background is personnel, HR. I'm always here for the people. I immediately became involved in Rossmore. I became what they call a director. Rossmore is divided into 18 mutuals. I did a mutual 9, so I became a director. Then I was lucky and I joined several of the clubs. One happened to be the Kiwanis. I became the president of the Kiwanis Club. And because of that, I became the liaison to the Key Club at the high school. So my love was always with education. I would like to continue as your councilwoman for low taxes, which we have, the services we have from the EM, the fire, the police. I think we have the finest police department in the state, although we're ranked number 4. The library, the senior center offers more than just bingo to games, the social services. What I'm trying to say is, I want to continue to keep the taxes low, open space, farm preservation, and I thank you for listening, and have a good evening.
Thank you. And now we're going to hear from Charles Dipierro.
Thank you very much. First, I want to thank the League of Women Voters and Ms. Clarke as well, and our Senior Center for putting this event together. I just want to say thank you very much, and our audience as well, and our audience watching. I'm a lifetime resident of 60 years in the township of Monroe, with a town that I love dearly. I went through the school system. I had the honor of meeting my girlfriend, who's my wife, sitting in the first row for 37 years, and I love this town. My children went through the school system in Monroe. My daughter's a teacher, a special needs teacher in Monroe. We believe in this town. We love this town. My family, we've been here since 1905. My family is well known in this township, and we love this town. We work hard in many ways. I've been a business owner in many businesses. I'm a real estate broker right now for the last 40 years, and I have a business in town that we sell a lot of homes. And we looked at the town when we had 10,000 residents, and Jamesburg had more residents than we did. We had mainly farmers. That's what I remember. That's how I grew up. So I got involved as a fire commissioner 17 years ago, and I decided to run for council. Currently, I am the councilman for Ward 3, and I continue to work hard with the mayor and our council to look at our taxes and to look at our school situation is the big thing. We're very limited to what we can do, but transparency is my goal, and also to work together. It's very important that our community comes together as one, and we solve each problem one by one, as we just went through some current flooding, that we feel for our residents, and we're there for our residents. We work hard every day. I answer all my emails, all my phone calls throughout the town, and I'd like to continue that as Councilman Ward 3. Thank you.
And thank you. Now we're going to hear from Eosso.
Nice to see everybody here tonight. I want to thank the League, Ms. Clarke, for moderating this great event, logistically, so it's pretty tough to do, so thank you. My name is Eosso, and I am your Ward 2 Council candidate. I am a 16-year resident here in Monroe Township. I was actually born here. I came back here with my wife and 2 children to raise our family. I'm also a 26-year career firefighter in Edison, and I'm retiring April 6th of 2022 in order to serve on council in a full-time capacity. I feel as the town gets larger, we need someone in council that's going to operate on a full-time capacity. My wife is a school teacher here in Monroe Township, where she was Teacher of the Year last year. My daughter my beautiful Brianna is here as well. She's a senior in high school, and she's our captain of the field hockey team. And my son plays baseball at our Science College. And we love it here in Monroe. As far as my accomplishments, I do have four accomplishments I'm very proud of in the fire department. I do have 2 life-saving CPR save awards and 2 merit awards. As far as my platform here, I'll cut right to the chase and tell you that why I'm your Monroe Ward 2 Council candidate is because we need to build a veterans facility as promised for the last 30 years here for our veterans right here in Monroe. I'm also fighting for state equalization aid. As you all well know, if you read my post, you'll see that we receive 0 in state equalization aid. And we are one of the largest municipalities in the state, and we only receive $6.2 million in state school aid. Reason being is we don't lobby for it. You need a candidate that's going to not be a rubber stamper. You need a candidate that's going to get up there, go to Trenton, bang on the steps, and get school aid. I'm also fighting against the overdevelopment and the special interests. When my wife and I moved here 16 years ago, it was a wonderful town, and it still is. We don't want to destroy it by the copious amount of buildings going on in this town. happening. We're seeing flooding in our township. We're seeing areas of people losing their homes because the infrastructure can't take it. I've seen enough of it, and it needs to stop. Thank you.
And the next speaker is Terrence Van Zura.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. Thank you to the League of Women Voters, and thank you all for coming out tonight to listen to all of us. My name is Terry Van Zura. I've been a Monroe resident for 25 years. I'm currently the at-large councilman for the town, and I'm running for re-election. I grew up in Woodbridge, New Jersey. I went to Rutgers University. After I went to Rutgers University, I went to law school, came back down, and I've been practicing attorney now for 40 years. I first started out as an assistant prosecutor in the Middlesex County Prosecutor's Office, where I spent 3 years. Since then, I've been in private practice. The last 30 years in my own office. You know, when I was young, I was always involved in recreation sports, whether it be basketball, little league, or whatever. And I was always fortunate because I had good coaches. I don't mean X's and O's, they were good like that. But what they did is they taught you about teamwork at a very young age. They taught you how to get along with your teammates and taught you how to be a good person and sacrifice for the good of the program. And I found that when I had a chance and when I had kids, I would always try to give back. And that's what I did when I moved to Monroe. I had a son and a daughter. I wound up getting involved in coaching both basketball and softball. And, you know, you put that same type of, instill that same type of feeling into the kids, and it makes you feel like you really had a chance to give back. So my kids grew up. They both went to Monroe High School. They graduated. I'm glad to say with Monroe High School education, they did well. They both went to college. One's in grad school. The other is out of a job. So now I had a little extra time, and I decided to expand it into more public service. Fortunately, I was able to be appointed to the planning board in town. I later became chairman of the planning board. After Mayor Dipierro passed away, I was appointed to take Steve Dalina's spot when he became mayor. So I feel my skill set is good, and I ask for you to consider me for your position. Thank you.
And now the next speaker is going to be Melody Henry.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. A little bit nervous. I'm sitting here listening to everybody else. And thank you for the League of Women Voters for putting this together. And thank you for all the residents that came out. I am so very impressed that you're all here, so thank you very much. So for those of you who do not know me, my name is Melody Henry, also Melody Anatia Henry, in case you see it on the ballot like that. I'm new here in Monroe, and I have to tell you, the 6 years that we've been here, we fell in love with it. And as soon as we came here, we had actually retired and gone down to North Carolina for a dozen years, and everybody wonders why we're back. We're back for various reasons, but we love being here. And as soon as we came back, I joined our condominium adult community, and in no time at all, I became president of the section. And, you know, I've always been involved with the local community efforts. When we were down in North Carolina, I served on the board of directors for the college. I taught at the college. I served on the foundation board also, and always been in leadership qualities. Why do I want to run, or what qualities do I bring to this this panel, this council? Very, very civic-minded, very community-minded, and I am very talented as far as you know, expertise with waste, with management, with redundancies. You know, I was in a position at Cablevision for many years where I directed a team of engineers, and we studied business practices to make sure that we know how to eliminate what we don't need and save money. So one of the things we're very interested in on this platform is to make sure that we keep Monroe affordable for everybody. And to do that, we have to manage our costs. And I think I can help in that capacity. So working with a team of dynamic people, and I'm very happy to be here, and I hope I have your vote in November. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Peter Tufano.
Hi, everyone. I want to thank the League this up. It's about time that we had this kind of thing happen in Monroe. It's been a while. Ms. Clarke, thank you for moderating, and I'd like to thank Patty Lang for taking my last-minute email last night. I moved here 22 years ago from Brooklyn, New York. I moved to East Brunswick, where I started my family. Family got big, decided to move further south to Monroe Township. I'm here 13 years now. I have 3 children that are still in Monroe Township High School. And basically I went to a Monroe Township Board of Ed meeting 6 or 7 years ago, and I didn't like what was going on there. And I decided that I was going to run for my first elected position, and I won. And I'm currently on the BOE as we speak. I decided that I'd like to run as a councilman so that it can affect a lot more change with the school aid. I think we are allowing our current legislators into Monroe to campaign here, and we shouldn't do that. I don't care what party they're from. I would like to stop them from campaigning here and lying to our seniors, saying to our seniors that they're helping them when they're actually hurting them by not getting us the fair funding we deserve and our students deserve. Not getting that funding is affecting all of our taxes. Not stopping the builders from flooding our schools with more children is hurting our taxes and hurting our students, more importantly. It's not fair that we have to reach out to the residents of this township and ask them all the time to give us money. And I understand that it cannot be changed on our level, but at the state level it needs to change. A lot of the seniors in this community come here to enjoy the rest of their life, and they're being taken advantage of, in my opinion.
Thank you. Now we're going to move on to Group of P, Siegel.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. Thank you to the League of Women for coordinating this event tonight, and thank you for all of you joining us tonight. My name is Druza Siegel. Some of you may recognize me as a member of the Board of Education, but I am here as a private citizen running as a candidate for the Ward 2 Council seat. I was born and raised in North Jersey to 2 doctors who came to America in the late 1960s. They instilled in me and in my siblings a social responsibility, always putting people first. I am a Rutgers graduate with a degree in economics, currently working in a global pharmaceutical company in human resources and learning and development. My husband and I moved to Monroe with our 2 sons in 2009 because of the vibrant and diverse community and excellent school system. My older son is a recent graduate of Monroe Township High School and currently attending college, and my younger son is a senior at the high school. Since moving to Monroe, I have been actively involved in volunteering in our township school community, holding officer positions in elementary and middle school PTAs and PTOs, supporting the students and our staff. I have also volunteered in various organizations throughout our community. In November of 2018, I was elected as a member of the Monroe Township Board of Education. During my term, I participated in various board committees such as negotiations, finance, curriculum, delegate assembly. In my 2 years as the Board of Education member, I am proud to have worked with our school administration in many ways, including supporting curriculum enhancements to make Monroe schools premier. As I complete my last year, my term as a Board of Ed member, I am looking forward to serving the community as a town councilwoman for Ward 2. My experience on the Board of Ed, my professional skills, and community service has prepared me for this next step, to work with the community as a whole. As we come out of this pandemic, we have an opportunity as a team and a community to collaborate, discuss initiatives, and share ideas. I look forward to working with Mayor Dalina and this team to make Monroe the best version of itself. Thank you.
Thank you. And our final opening statement will be from Alton Kinsey, too.
Okay, thank you, Madam Moderator, to the League. My name is Alton Kinsey. I am a retired board-certified anesthesiologist. I am running for the 3rd Ward Council seat. You know, my wife Linda and I lived in Metuchen for about 25 years, where we raised our 2 adult children. 6 years ago, we moved to Monroe and lived in the Regency. As a person who believes in community service, I joined CASA Council Board, which advocates for children in foster care. I also ran for the Regency HOA Board, where I am serving my third consecutive term. In this role, we created an emergency preparedness plan, a transition plan, and updated bylaws, just to name a few accomplishments. I am also part of the Mayor's Senior Advisory Committee. Early this year, I decided to run for town council. My dedication to community, attention to detail, and integrity makes me a good candidate, and I hope you'll agree. I was already impressed with Mayor Dalina because of his vaccine program for seniors, keeping our taxes stable, and commitment to the town master plan. The master plan will be the cornerstone for Monroe's future. Throughout my career, I have always been a good listener with a passion for understanding details. This is what I did in my medical career and what I will do for Monroe. I want to be part of moving Monroe forward. I look forward to meeting my Ward 3 neighbors and representing them. Thank you.
Thank you to all of the speakers. We're going to move on now to the question period. And I'm first going to ask questions of the mayoral candidates, and then I'll ask questions each time of the council members. If we haven't...
Some of us still have questions. I'll collect.
Can you collect those questions? If you could sort through them, I might be able to ask more questions. But I need the help of someone sorting through them. We might be able to ask each of you separately questions if we get enough, okay? We'll change your format slightly. They'd like to do that. So, but while you're doing the collecting, I'll ask the mayors a question. We're flexible here. What I really want to know from the mayor, and we're going to start with you, Mr. Dalina. What are the top issues that you want to address in the next couple of years? And please explain why these issues take priority and how might you address them. Now you got to do this in 1 minute.
Oh, right. Let's rock and roll here. So, the one thing that I had started this when I was a council person was the implementation, the review of our master plan, which is our blueprint of what Monroe should look like. For me, when I became mayor, I made it one of my priorities, and this is something where I would like to see the fruition of it. First time ever that I decided that the master plan, I wanted more community involvement. We did a township-wide survey to gather information. We had over 2,000 people respond through the online survey, through telephone conversations, with 3 on-site discussions as well. We had 60,000 results out of this. And this is the opportunity. This is going to be the blueprint for what Monroe Township will look like now and the future. And it's important because we're going to look at our needs, such as recreation, zoning, and transportation.
Thank you. Hard. Okay. Mr. Van Zoon. Okay. Mr. Martin, I told you I'd make a mistake.
Terry, take my position already.
Okay. So, Mr. Martin, what are your issues? And how will you address them? And what's the priority?
Okay, priority of my issues. I have 3 of them on my platform. One is taxes, is bringing shared services into our town, bringing in-house professionals between engineering and in-house attorney, so we can stop the no-bid contracts going out to these professionals, which are exorbitant for our town. We need to pretty much look at what goes on in our town and try to manage it so we can reduce the taxes for our seniors. Second is development. We've got to stop the overdevelopment of the residential building that is sprawling, that is destroying our school system and destroying our roadways. We're getting too crowded. We still have some open space. We need to use that master plan to build and construct commercial property and commercial centers for our seniors to enjoy. Third is our school system. We want to make sure our schools are not overcrowded like they are now. We need to get our fair funding. We need to build the right school for the size of the students that we have, and we need to do it at the right price.
That's pretty good. Okay, now I am going to start with Mr. Van Zura. I'm going to ask you a question, which is somewhat similar, which is, what are your top issues and that you want the council to address in the next several years? And please explain why these issues are important to you and for the residents in 1 minute.
1 minute. Thank you for that question. I think the most important thing that we're all looking at, first of all, we're trying to keep all of our taxes in line. That's a big concern. There's concern about development in the town. It's not going to stop totally because we are under a court mandate. We do have to build a certain amount of affordable units. But what we have to do is we have to address this in a way that is done smartly. There's people say, I'm going to put a moratorium on development. You can't do that. People say we're going to make the builders pay for the schools. You can't do that. It's against the law. So what we have to do is we have to be smart in how we do it. Now, we were able to keep a no tax increase, in fact, a slight decrease this year, and we did it. But the thing and what we have to do going forward, keeping the town safe, we have to do it in a manner where we do not overspend. So,
Thank you. Mr. Tufano, what is your issues? You intend to achieve them?
Being currently on the Board of Ed, I can tell you that our schools are in crisis right now. We have a lot of unhoused students. We have students that have to eat their lunch in 20 minutes. Some of them have to wait online 10, 15 minutes to get their food, and they have 5 minutes to sit down and eat lunch. That's not healthy for any of them. We have a huge problem here where this council is not running the township. The builders are running the township. They are basically telling us what they're going to do, and too bad, you're out of luck. We need to stop that. We need to find a way to stop that. As far as the court order for the affordable housing, I feel that it is definitely in our power to figure out a way to build this affordable housing ourselves as a township, and then we won't be beholden to the builders anymore. It can be done if we put our heads together. We're a lot of smart people in this township, and we can do it. Again, my major issue is the school system and the students. They come first, and they are our future.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to ask first Ms. Schneider and then Ms. Henry what their top issues are and how, and for the next couple of years, how would you plan to address them? Ms. Schneider?
Well, I think as everyone said, we do want to contain the lowest taxes, and I think public safety is a great concern, and we do have one of the safest towns, which I want to keep. It's very easy to say that we don't have funding for the schools. Spending 20 years in North Mosaic, the formula was not right. It still isn't right. So I think we have to go to trend, which we did. I sat on the finance committee to help the school for funding. So funding for the schools is very important. Education is very important to us. Safety is very important to me. Open space. I am the granddaughter and niece of farmers, big farmers, in Allentown, New Jersey, Englishtown. So I have the greatest love for this town. My husband was a veteran. I think of veterans for housing. We negotiated so we could get some housing for the veterans. Sorry. Got me started on the very time. Sorry.
Okay, Ms. Henry, what is your top issue and how would you carry it out?
Okay, so my top issue, of course, is affordability in Monroe, and that would include taxes, lowering and decreasing far as taxes, I took a look at my town tax, and the biggest portion of that tax record was going to schools. It was at 56%, and I didn't quite understand that. So I started asking questions, and everybody said, oh, is this fair funding or unfair funding, and it's a formula. Well, I'm a mathematician, and I understand formulas, I understand equations. I want to go to transit, and I want to look at that formula, and I want to know what it's made up of, and I want to make sure we are getting fair funding, because if we get money from the state, then by right, that tax has to go down. So that's what I would really concentrate on, and I know I can do that. And the other thing I really want to take care of is the master plan. I will not be a rubber stamp for the builders and the developers. I will make sure I ask the tough questions and make sure I know what we're doing and make a really informed decision. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to change the question, and I'm going to ask first Ms. Siegel and then Mr. Eosso. And that is, Ms. Siegel, how do you expect to generally enhance the vitality and quality of life of the community?
Thank you. So, improving our life, again, public safety is very important in our community. We have done so much in this community to make our community safe. We've expanded our police department. We have expanded emergency medical services. We have different programs, our rec programs, to provide for our children, for our families, for our seniors. We have this beautiful senior center that has so many different programs and culture programs and offers assistance to our seniors. So we have a little bit of something for everyone in our community. So I would love to see these programs continue to grow. And as we use the master plan to help us, we can use the master plan to help us continue to grow these great programs that we have in Monroe for all of our citizens, which will increase everyone's way of life. And, we also have beautiful open spaces off of Monroe, which gives us all an opportunity to enjoy the outdoors, especially during the pandemic. We saw so many people looking for those type of spaces to be able to use. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Siegel. Mr. Eosso?
Yeah, enhancing the quality of life is so important to our Monroe residents. And once again, I think it starts with transparency. Transparency enhances everyone's quality of life. And if we all know what's going on, we can fix it. But as far as enhancing the quality of life for our residents moving forward, of course we need another recreation center down the center of town. One recreation center is really not cutting it for 44 square miles of the town we have here. As far as our residents and what they need in terms of enhancing their quality of life, our seniors, our veterans, our great veterans in the Veterans Facility, they go out of this town in order to congregate with one another. I think if we start with them, build them what they need, okay? That's the core of our country, that's the core of this town. We have close to 1,000 veterans right here in Monroe Township. We have nowhere to go. So enhancing their quality of life is so important to me.
Okay, I'm going to ask Mr. Kinsey and then Mr. Dipierro another question, and that is, it was sort of alluded to just now. Recreation is important. How will Monroe expand recreation programs for our community? Mr. Kinsey.
Yes,
Thank you. Well, yes, as it was previously stated, we do have a master plan that's going to look at where and how we can expand the various open spaces and the parks and recreations for the town. Yes, we do have a very vibrant recreation program ongoing, and many cultural activities that have been going on. In fact, as I become increasingly acquainted with the town, I seem to find more and more little niches that are offered to the community. The spray park, the cricket court, it's like the cricket fields. I'm over already. So there are many facilities that are available, and we are having the ability, because the economy is stable, that we are able to add to that. Now it's okay.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Dipierro. All right, you go with that one.
Okay, thank you.
Recreation.
Recreation, when I was growing up in Monroe, I was a counselor at the Monroe Rec, and we just had a card that had Monroe Rec on a piece of paper written on the side of a Pinto car, and Tommy Allen was our rec director, and we did it at the schools. So recreation is very important. We used to have baseball in Jamesburg. Monroe didn't even have recreation when I grew up here. So I watched the rec department really grow, and everybody here in town has an opportunity, even the seniors with rec. But it's important that we have a special needs park, which we're doing right now on Prospect Plains. It's very important that we keep recreation. We need it in the center of the town and the south side of the town. Recreation for seniors and also recreation for our children is very important. So I think we just need another senior center / rec center that can help all the community.
Okay, thank you. And now we're going to move on and ask the mayoral candidates another question. You're going to like this one. And I'm going to start this time with you, Mr. Martin. Is he looking? Yeah. Okay. Property taxes are always a major concern for taxpayers. What actions do you think the mayor and council can take to address these concerns?
Taxes are one of our number one issue, of course. One, because the seniors are struggling to stay here in this state. Our state's very expensive. No matter where you go, where you turn, the turnpike's raising their rates, the sales tax are going up, gas taxes are going up. All taxes are going up throughout our state. As Murphy said, if you don't like taxes, this ain't the state for you. Well, I hate to tell Mr. Murphy, you're wrong. This is the state for us. This is the town for our residents, and we need to do something about it. Okay? We need to figure out how to share services. We need to figure out how to lower taxes and then lock them in. We need to get our fair funding from Mr. Murphy and the state for all of us, because our schools deserve that fair funding. Our children deserve it. $6,000 or $6 million a year is a slap in the face in the state of New Jersey, and we need to fix that. And if we're elected, we will fight for fair funding.
Mr. Dalina.
Thank you, Connie. Listen, we all want what's best for Monroe. Low taxes are always key. It's always number one in all of our minds, correct? So for me, and again, this is a reflection of what I wanted to do as mayor. When I came in to do the budget for my first time, I decided we need zero raise in taxes. In fact, after much discussion with my professionals, we went low. During COVID, we all suffered. The town was no better. So I decided, let's lower the taxes. we can continue that with our bond rating and refinancing some of our debt, some of our loans, and bring some more money back in. And then also rate-ups. I created an economic development commission to look at our small businesses in town and also start looking big picture as well. What can we do? What are some of the incentives that we can bring some larger companies in as well to help with the tax base? Thank you.
Thank you. Now I'm going to ask the council members a question. I'm going to try to vary those questions. I'm going to start with you, Ms. Henry. Shable? Okay. Ready to go? All right. And followed by Ms. Schneider. So the question is, are you satisfied with the current level of openness and transparency in municipal government? If so, why? If not, what steps should be taken to improve it?
Great question. No, I am not satisfied with the level of transparency. One of the things we run on is more transparency. Transparency in our communities, in our HOAs, transparency on every level of government, right up to national government. But as far as Monroe, one of the things I would do is, say what you're going to do, and then actually do what you say. That is what transparency is all about. So many times that does not happen. And what you have to do is hold people accountable. Don't just let them say, I'm going to do this, and then they don't do it, and then you look the other way. So that's the way I would tend to this. I'm not a professional politician here. I just know when I get into this office, I'm going to do everything I can do. I'm going to be tenacious. I'm going to ask all the questions, and I'm going to keep hounding people until I'm satisfied that I have the answers to make sure we're transparent to all the residents. Thank you.
Ms. Schneider, can you discuss transparency?
Well, I've been on the council 8 years, and as far as I'm concerned, we are transparent. I don't think I would serve, indeed, I would not associate with anything that I didn't think If I didn't think that, then I wouldn't be on the council. You have Oprah. We hold our meetings. If these people, if it's that bad, why is this town everybody moving into that thinks it's so good with everything we have? Now, I'm not saying we're a perfect town, but as far as I'm concerned, the transparency is there. You can question any of us. You can come in and ask any of our people that are in charge. So, as far as I'm concerned, locally, we are transparent.
Thank you. And now I'm going to address a question to Mr. Eosso and then Siegel. And the question, Mr. Eosso, is we have a large senior community in Monroe. What programs are available for seniors? And how will the candidates work towards supporting our senior community?
Okay, as far as our programs in the senior community, I don't have all those answers to how many programs there actually are, but you can never get enough programs for our seniors. Once again, I stress the need for our veterans and our seniors in the adult communities who may not have, say, transportation, co-transportation. This spring, I developed a transportation program for those seniors who could not get a ride to get their COVID jobs voluntarily with a bunch of other residents in Monroe. This is one of the issues, and I did receive some lashback from the town itself. And it wasn't a congratulatory lashback. It was, why are you doing this to us? Well, why aren't you doing it for them? Our seniors can always use more and more services. Okay, they are the very foundation of our town. A lot of you have lived here forever, and we can't forget that. And we cannot forget our veterans and what we need to do for them.
Hey, thank you. Ms. Siegel, can you address the needs of the senior community?
Sure. So First, we're in this beautiful senior center here today, which serves as a hub for our seniors. This is where Mayor Dalina, when he set up his vaccination program, this was a center for our seniors to come and get their vaccinations. During the day, there's beautiful programs that the seniors have. They have different activities that showcase cultural activities and different showcases. Not only is the senior center also is staffed with people that can help our seniors and assist them on day-to-day items. We have a food bank here. We also have presentations that are done for our seniors on scams that may be happening right from our police department. So we do have some wonderful programs here, and we can just continue to grow them as we continue to grow. But we do have wonderful programs here for our seniors.
Okay. Now I'm going to ask another question, and I'm going to start with Mr. Dipierro. And then Mr. Kinsey. Don't make fun of old people. Doesn't okay. I'm starting with you. How would you support the veterans specifically? But he's alluded to it, but somebody else has asked for programs. For Mr. Dipierro.
Okay, thank you. Being a son of a veteran, and my dad was in the service as well as my father-in-law, my wife and I always attend every veteran event that's in Monroe, and we've been there lots of times by ourselves. But I got to say that, as Tim said, there's many veterans in Monroe. They need the support to go somewhere. All right, we need American Legion. We need some kind of facility. We've been talking about it on the mayor and council about building one, but we can't control that facility on the Monroe residents only. But the programs that we need for veterans are to help them with possibly transportation, for medical, also for shopping, and getting our community together to help one another support our veterans. It's very important that we don't forget our veterans, and being in real estate to our programs for veterans as well.
Mr. Kinsey, can you address the veterans question?
Yes, and for the veterans that are out in the audience, thank you for your service. I'd like to say that it's like there are grants that are available from the federal and possibly from the state, coffers that we can look into to try to get monies to do some of these extra things that we would like to have for the gallant boys and girls that actually served us. There is no easy answer. I know all the dollars that are available are tight, it's like that, but we can go out there and try to fight and to get this. Now, it's like all the facilities that are available, recreational housing and everything, are for everyone. And some of the affordable housing that is being built here, the veterans are also able to get some of that. So the affordable housing is made for teachers and firefighters and everyone else that can utilize that service.
Thank you. And now we're going to move on to another question, and I'm going to ask Mr. Tufano first, and then Mr. Van Zera. And that question is, as our town continues to grow, become even more diverse, how does your team plan on being able to improve community involvement?
Well, first I'd like to say that the rec center in this town is awesome. It's great for the kids. I believe that we need to expand on that program. I do believe we need a second rec center in this town. We have a large community of South Asians in this town, and I believe that we definitely need more cricket fields. We need to mainstream cricket into our curriculum in school. I think it should be part of the sports programs in our school system. And I honestly think that I'd like to integrate seniors with students in some sports, light sports like maybe tennis or maybe volleyball or something along those lines. Because I think bringing the two together is good for both parties involved. I think for students and for seniors to have some company, I really believe that program can help everyone, and that's what I'd like to do.
Okay, thank you. And now, Mr. Van Zera, your thoughts as the town grows.
Well, this is exactly where the master plan is all about. The master plan is a picture into the future of Monroe Township. And the mayor was smart enough to include all people. Everybody in this town has a chance to be heard on those things that are important. And that's why we sent out the surveys. We're trying to involve all the different people on the committees with the master plan, whether they be Democrat, Republican, or whatever, because we want to know what everybody thinks. We call that the unity in the community. Now, what does the master plan look at? It looks at housing. It looks at transportation. How are people going to get around as we develop? It talks about commercial space, which helps us with taxes. The recreation facilities that we've heard about, including on this side of town. And open space, supermarkets, new restaurants, all the things that people look for in a town are the things that we need to integrate, and we will be doing it as part of our master plan as we continue to develop.
Okay, thank you very much. Now I'd like to move on to the mayoral candidates, and I'm going to ask them a question. And I'm going to start with Mr. Dalina. What do you propose to do to encourage collaboration across parties and philosophies?
Wow, that's me.
That's you. Yeah. Move the mic up close.
I think what I have done in the community, both on the council and as the mayor, I think everyone knows about my ability to work with everybody. And again, the epitome of that was when I became mayor, and I reached out to a lot of different people in the town. In particular, obviously my colleagues on the council is bipartisan, but the Board of Ed. I called every single Board of Ed member. They were surprised when the mayor called. It never happened before. That's what I do, and that's who I am. And as Councilman Van Zera said, unity in the community, that is a theme that I strongly believe in. We are all one Monroe, and we all want what's best for Monroe. Thank you.
Now may we hear from you, Mr. Martin?
Yes, I believe we are all one Monroe. I've known Steve for 22 years, 23 years from baseball. We are friends. I consider him a friend. I consider, everyone up here has given up their time for our community. But we do need to look at a fair planning board, a fair zoning board. Right now, it's all one party, and the zoning board and planning board are made up of Democratic committee people. Okay? If you want a rubber stamp for a plan for a monster builder who's going to destroy our town, keep it that way. Okay? Leave them in power. If you want your town to be destroyed by builders. The biggest builder has destroyed Woodbridge and Edison and become a concrete jungle. That's not my vision for Monroe. I want to make sure we have fair and impartial people on these boards, and I want somebody from both sides. So there's no rubber stamps.
Are you, Mr. He wants 30 seconds.
I want to agree with Mr. Martin that we are friends. There's no doubt about it, and we will always be friends. However, just one small issue I did want to bring up that was incorrect is that there are actually 2 Republicans on our planning board. The gentleman, Mr. Rothman, who ran against me a few years ago, as well as the current chair. He's a registered Republican as well. So there is diversity on the planning board. which I oversee. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Martin, any comments?
Yes, I wanted to, yes, Mr. Rothman is on the planning board, but the important board is the zoning board, and that's where Mr. Jack Morris and Edgewood Properties gets all his rezonings so he can build his multi-unit places all over our town and make it a concrete jungle. I want to stop that.
Thank you. All right, we'll change the subject, and we're going to move on now to asking another few questions of the council members. And I'm going to start this time with you, Ms. Siegel, and then followed by Mr. Eosso. We have so much development on the southern side of Monroe, for instance, Monroe Place, Gateway Townhouses, but there are no public places built. What would you do to rectify this?
So, I mean, first of all, this is why, as we explained earlier with the master plan, this is our tool and our blueprint. As we move forward, this is how we can assess what we need all around the community. Listen to what the feedback is coming back, what the community has shared. We have heard that we want more recreation on that side, so this is the beauty of the master plan. So we will work with the community, get some ideas, and this is how we will manage and come up with different facilities that we can do to meet the needs of our community.
Mr. Eosso?
Well, I have to kind of that. Okay, we have my adversary who took $600 from a developer and an engineer. We have $1.1 million over the last election cycle given by Jack Morris and his constituents to the Democratic Party. Now, unlike my adversary, I have not taken $1 from a builder or an engineer because I'm not going to be married to them. Our mayor candidate said it best, Steve Martin. We don't want a concrete jungle here. What we do need is some ratables. We need ratables on 33. Okay, we need a new rec center down south end of town here. Okay, we need to develop for the community. Okay, we can't have multi-family homes, single-family homes in our community here when we have kids sitting in the hallway eating lunch. We can't have this. Where are we going to house these children? So as far as development in the south side, let's stick with what's good for the Monroe residents now, such as a rec center, such as ratables where we can go, downtown where we can go. We don't have that. But we have plenty of single-family homes here that are going to drive our taxes to the roof. It's got to stop.
Okay, that was a good start. The next question, I'm going to start with you, Mr. Kinsey, and then Mr. Dipierro. We have very small pockets of open space marked near Federal Road, Dipierro Hill Road, but they are not usable. What is the township plan to build open spaces? And what is the estimated time period we can see something built? Mr. Kinsey?
Yes, thank you for the question. It comes back to having a single source as a blueprint to go off of. It's like if we want the town to grow in a responsible and safe manner, we have to listen to the experts. One is also from the master plan, that survey that came out, and once it's settled and it's looked into, we will know exactly what the thoughts of the people are, because we'll take all that information and then the experts will then look at it and decide what is the proper place for everything. But currently we do have an open space and a farmland preservation commission that reports to the mayor and the town, the council, as well as the planning board and the zoning board.
Mr. Kinsey?
Yes.
Conclude, please.
Okay, well, and at that point, I will just say thank you very much.
Okay, Mr. Dipierro.
Thank you. Open space, we brag about that. We have 8,000 acres of open space in the township of Monroe. Just to give you an example, there's a BFI landfill that's on that 8,000 acres. You have water towers. You have Forest Country Club, which is privately owned. That's not something that I'm proud of as open space, as a resident for 60 years. And we do have someone in the audience that's very proud of that, that's a past councilman. And I got to tell you, open space is usable land. The last purchase of 76 acres on Pineville Road, which was non-buildable land, it just didn't make any sense to purchase and lose $21,000 in taxes to take $21,000 off the tax rolls to put it back onto our plate as an expense. You have to pave past that road. You have to do the snow plowing past those open space properties. We need good, usable open space, and that's something that this team will do.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to ask the next question, starting with Mr. Van Zero and then Mr. Tufano. What would be your plan for redevelopment in Monroe Township?
Well, to be honest with you, that sounds like the last three questions combined together.
It is.
And what we have to do, again, and I hate to keep saying go back to the master plan, we're making an effort to preserve 50% open space in Monroe. That's been the goal, and that continues to be the goal. And we do have over 8,000 acres, including over 100 acres in the last 3 to 4 months. We need to do things. Yes, the southern part of the town has been developed more recently. So we have to address the needs of those neighbors now. All right, we have a strong South Asian community in the southern part of town. So when we look at a rec center, and we've gotten some of these responses from the master plan, we want rec centers, maybe one with a pool, maybe one with different things. Maybe some cricket courts, because that's what our South Asian friends might like to play. But we continue to do what we can. We continue to support recreation facilities, and we continue to try to keep the taxes low as we go forward.
Mr. Tufano, can you add to that?
A master plan is a great thing to have. We've had one, from what I can remember, 3 times since I lived here. And I just hope that this master plan is not just an election ploy, because the last master plans that we've had have not been followed. If they were followed, we wouldn't be in this huge mess that we're in with our school system. I really believe that we can, as a township, build the affordable housing that we are mandated to build on our own, and I believe that we can incorporate the veterans that deserve to live in affordable housing to live there as well. Things like this can be accomplished if people put their heads together, and I think that can actually be profitable for our township rather than be beholden to the builders who we're depending on to build this affordable housing for us while they take advantage of us and our school system.
Okay, thank you. Talk about hot off the press. Okay, the next question, I'm going to start with you, Ms. Schneider. I'm going to go to Ms. Henry. Okay? What do you see the future of renewable energy in Monroe? Gotta write that, people.
Would you just repeat that again?
Yes, I will. What do you see for the future of renewable energy in Monroe?
The energy?
Renewable.
The renewable energy?
Yeah.
Yes. Well, right now, the renewable energy with the price that we saw was not renewable. So we're going to go out. We're going to have to go out and look again. We've been very fortunate in the past to help our residents with the energy. I think we've done our best on the council. I know we get a lot of negativity, but I think we're out there because we're all taxpayers, we're all residents. So we're all concerned, especially I know we have 12 adult communities, and I sit on the commission. But as far as the energy right now, that's something we have to go out and look at again. But all I want to say is Monroe great town. It's a nice town to live in. That's why people are coming here. And I think the main thing is we have to work together. Thank you.
Ms. Henry, could you address renewable energy?
Sure. It's a tough question, I have to tell you. I had never considered that at all, but let me tell you what my thoughts are right now. And of course, I would want to gather a lot more information. But for right now, I'm aware of a landfill that is only capped 25% in Monroe. And I think if we capped it completely, we could put a solar generator plant on it, and that would help us. So basically capping the landfill that's only 25% right now. Also, when you talk about renewable energy, how about electric township vehicles? I mean, that's something you might want to explore. I don't have any facts on any of this, but you know, it's the way of the future, especially with cars. And I'm sure there would be many grants available for the government to help us with that. So, tough question. I have to tell you, once again, I'm not a professional politician here, and I was not really prepared for that question, but I would certainly do my homework and research it going forward. Thank you.
That's a good approach. Thank you. All right, then we'll move on now for another question. Our mayoral candidates, okay? And I'm going to, with you, Mr. Martin, what, if any, is the responsibility of local government to protect public health during a pandemic? Okay, I'll try again. What, if any, is the responsibility of local government to protect public health during a pandemic? But it's current.
Most Port and Monroe has done a good job with Nixon's system of keeping our residents informed. Informing them, keeping them up to date, and stopping a lot of the false BS that goes around and fallacies that are always pushed through social media. We need to keep them directly informed with the facts and keep our seniors informed so they can get the treatment they need, that can make a responsible decision on such a fact. And we also, Mr. Dalina did put together a board, medical board with Mrs. Cohen to address those issues during the pandemic and see to make sure our seniors did get the treatment and they get the help. And I think we need a board like that, but we also need to make sure all our senior communities are informed together, and they should have their own board to make sure all the senior communities are working together.
Mr. Dalina, can you add to that?
I can a wee bit. Obviously, Mr. Martin had mentioned the Health Advisory Board, which came to fruition this year in response to what we all experienced with COVID. But local government during a pandemic is your first stop for the most part. We saw that in action here. You have to rely on the Office of Emergency Management, and it's truly an orchestra of people working together. And it's the orchestra of local government that helps provide that. There's also an extension of that too. Our senior center here, I mean, it's more than just the building. The aftermath of COVID and how seniors felt alone, they came to the senior center for an extension of their psychological help as well. So local government is the orchestra which can help with public safety. Thank you.
Okay. Now we'll try to go on to questions to the council members then. I hope this isn't too, but I'm going to start with you, Mr. Dipierro, okay, and then Mr. Kinsey. How will the master plan help better zone our township? What are your plans to implement this? So, zoning, can you address that?
Sure, that's a great question. As Peter Tufano said before, we watch the master plan, we follow the plan, and then we get to the zoning board, and then there's variances, There's big developers coming, making political donations to candidates, and then the people sitting on the boards or sitting on the council or mayor seat receive these political donations. So then you owe them a variance that would make our town change that deviates from the master plan. So putting the master plan together is very important, but following it is more important. And when we put a plan together and we work hard, as we all up here talking about the master plan, as Melody Henry said, we have to follow it. So my goal would be to stay away from political donations, which we've been doing, and also follow a new master plan that can get us more commercial development on 33.
Mr. Kinsey, implementation of the master plan, your ideas.
Yes, well, I take exception with a few of the points that have been made, but the master plan has been rolled out. It's a historic, it's like thing that was rolled out because it's the survey aspect of it that has never been implemented. So we're actually looking at the various comments from the entire community that participated. We're also going to sit down and make sure that the individuals that look at the master plan will follow the actual recommendations of the master plan board.
Thank you. I'm going to next ask Mr. Tufano to start, and then Druza to add to. This question was addressed to the pro candidates, but we're going to change it slightly. Somebody is concerned about alleviating the heavy truck traffic that has evolved because of the increase in the logistic centers built in Cranberry, and I believe really big issue. Is there something the council can do, Mr. Tufano, about the heavy truck traffic?
This is the second time during the mayoral race that I hear the promise of stopping of the truck traffic. The first time we failed miserably because the county, or either the county or the state came back and said, I'm sorry, that's a county road. Truck commerce is very important, and truck commerce is very important. A lot of your medications, a lot of the food that we get in the one supermarket in town comes from trucks. You can't stop truck traffic. Anybody who tells you they can is lying to you. I'm not going to come up here and promise you that I'm going to stop the truck traffic. It's unfortunate that our township was approved to have a senior community and 2 schools designed right on that main road, which it wasn't a main road when some of the schools were designed. Senior communities have a wall on the outside of that. It is dangerous for them to drive, and to drive on that road with all that truck traffic, and I just wish you all be very careful, because nobody's going to stop those trucks from coming. That's a lot.
Mr. Van Zura.
Thank you, Madam. All right, thank you. First of all, most of the truck traffic in town does not come from Monroe. It comes from outside the town, people trying to cut through. Trying to take a two-pronged approach to this. First of all, we have fought. We tried to make the roads no truck traffic. We got approvals through the town. We got approvals from the county level. It's now with the state, which is where it's at. The state doesn't just rubber stamp these things. So what we've done very importantly, we've gotten them to agree to review a regional study which covers the entire area, our town as well as the neighboring towns. We believe this will strongly support our position. Ultimately, will prevail. This fight is not yet lost. Secondly, while that's going on, the mayor's been working with our police, talking to the chief and trying to get a little bit more enforcement of the existing laws to make sure that anybody going down the street, particularly the trucks, are driving at that speed limit, whether it be 25 or less, and this will also have an effect. So thank you on that issue.
Okay, then moving right along, I'm going to start with you, Miss Henry, and then to be followed by Ms. Schneider. How do you believe the council can support local businesses?
Another great question. Well, one thing we can do is lower taxes and make it easy for businesses to do businesses here in Monroe. It's a great question, I tell you the truth. I have not even considered this. I would have to defer to some of my teammates, and I'd have to explore it, and I'd have to investigate it. It's a great question.
But isn't that one of the good things about this, is it does bring up good questions for council members to consider. So thank you for the answer, and I will ask Ms.
It's just one thing I would think of is get in touch with the Chamber of Commerce and have them work together. We need to get one. That's something we don't have, but we should have one so that we could promote business.
Okay, that's a good thing. Let's move on then. Ms. Schneider, what do you think the council can do to promote local businesses?
Well, the mayor has an economic advisory board which is trying to bring in new businesses. As someone who owned a business, we were in the travel business, and I know what it is to be a business owner. So any way we can attract. The town is very safe. I think that's what businesses look for. We're economically responsible. I think businesses look for that. Again, the master plan will open C, but I think most people want to come into Monroe and have a business. We are looking any way we can to help. So, and with the master plan, I hate to keep bringing it up, that will help us also. But as someone who owned a business, I know the ins and outs. So I hope whatever we can attract, we're looking for good business people.
Okay, thank you. I'm now going to ask the next question of Mr. Eosso and then Ms. Siegel. This is going to have to be the last one because we're sort of running out of time, but you've done pretty good, and I thank you for what you've been able to give us. If we have a school referendum, will you support and campaign for it? And is the council allowed to do that?
I'm not sure if we're allowed to do that or not, but we need to see the referendum. We need to get a plan first. What we really need to do is fight for more aid. What we need to do in this town is fight for more aid. We only get $6.2 million for our school students right now. We get $0 in state equalization aid. And if you guys know anything about state equalization aid, or if you don't, my telephone number is on my posts. We do not get $1 in state equalization aid. As you know, your taxes or your homes were reassessed 10 years ago. They take the median income and your home value and they decide, hey, they don't need state equalization aid. Well, it's discriminatory, and our administration and our prior council, our council now, has not done one thing in Trenton to go fight for the state equalization aid. We should be getting this $4 million this before, and we've won, and I said it before, that they have not done anything about it. It's time to fight in Trenton, turn over the apple cart in Trenton. Don't worry about offending your legislators who your best friends are, and start fighting for that money that we need in Monroe.
Thank you. Ms.
Thank you. So, school referendum, I've been on the Board of Education for the past 3 years. Prior to that, as a parent, I've been fighting for a school referendum. I was part of the very first ad hoc committee that was put together in 2014. Education is so important, and I do know our schools are overcrowded, so I will continue to work for the students of our community and make sure that we work together to keep fighting and to make sure we get a referendum and we can build those schools for our students. So it's going to continue. We'll do everything that we can. You know, it is important for people to remember the school board has its own budget and the town has its own budget. They're not connected. They're different organizations.
Can I rebut to that?
You look at me. Yes, you can have 30 seconds to reply to that.
Once again, Ms. Siegel is part of the Board of Education, but she's never been the trend to fight for state equalization for all of us, seniors and our residents right now. She claims she's on the Board of Education and does this and does that, but she has not done one thing but shake her and nod her head at Board of Education. I hope you all will go and talk.
Got that. Ms. Siegel, 30 seconds.
I disagree with that. I actually was part of the first committee that went down to Trenton to fight back in 2013. I went down with their administration, so I have been fighting for schools. So, Mr. Esser, you are incorrect.
Okay.
Mr. Siegel also supported the divorce meeting.
We're all in order. Thank you. I appreciate that. And yeah, they're important issues, and we need discussion. Want to thank you for the questions. Any questions that didn't get answered, they promised that they'll get those questions to the council candidates so that they can become apprised and be able to answer you. So thank you for those interesting questions. Now we do have to move though on to the concluding statements. So I will do that right now. We're going to go in the reverse order. And that means that we're going to start with you, Mr. Kinsey. So you have two. You were the first one to speak going in reverse order. You were number 8. So this time you get to be number 1. Okay. Mr. Kinsey for 2 minutes.
Thank you very much. Okay. Thank you for tonight's forum. It's been a very interesting night here. As I said earlier, I care about the community and want to be part of moving Monroe forward. We have many common interests, such as maintaining and or lowering taxes, traffic patterns and roadway conditions, the safety and security of our communities, and the economic issues such as open space, clean, affordable, and sustainable energy. Throughout my career, I have always been a good listener with a passion for understanding details. I try to understand an issue and work to resolve any obstacles. This is why and what I did when I was in my medical career, and this, once again, is what I would do for Monroe. But my biggest concern today is the importance of your vote. Your right to vote is a serious responsibility and privilege. Once you take your vote for granted, you are giving away your constitutional right. Please vote to have your voice heard, for a silent voice is a diminished life. So I have the qualifications, the commitment, a positive approach, and the integrity to be your council person. I care about your questions. I care that I understand your questions and the impact on you. And I care that we answer your questions together. So let's work together to vote and vote for me on November 2nd. Thank you.
Thank you. And the next speaker is Rupert B. Siegel.
Great, thank you. So I love this community. Community and public service is something that I am so passionate about. Community in service was instilled in me at an early age by my parents, the value of giving back. My husband and I chose this town to move to because Monroe is vibrant and a diverse community. I've met so many great people through the years, and I hope by listening to Team Dalina, you can envision what our community will look like in years to come when our team is elected. I was at a meeting recently, and for the Democratic history of Monroe, and how the Democrats built a community we live in. I hear from some it's change we need, but in reality it's enhancements, continuing to bring Monroe to the next level. It's election time and you'll drive around town and see signs upon signs, you'll open up your Facebook and you'll see negative posts, but please do your research for the facts. Be an informed voter. Look at the character and the tone of the people you're voting for. Over the years, I've served this community as a resident and an elected member of the Board of Education. I am so proud and excited to be part of Team Dalina, the team of experienced leaders. There's a chemistry on this team that just flows, and I can't wait to see all the great things we will do together for the community. Mayor Dalina has the foresight. The relook of the master plan is unprecedented. It's our opportunity to keep making Monroe a wonderful community for us to live in. This is a team with honesty, integrity, and heart for the people. We thank you for your support and look forward to collaborating with you in the future to continue to build Monroe and make it the best version of itself. Remember to vote Team Dalina in column A all the way. Thank you.
Thank you. And the next speaker is Peter Tufano.
Sorry, folks, I don't write anything down because I speak from my heart. I would love for you to do what Rupa said out there. I would love for you to do some research. I would like you to do some research, go back a few years and look at all the same promises that they broke on you for years and years and years past. Enough is enough. Our schools in this township are in crisis. Not in bad shape, in crisis. And we need to do something to help our schools, and we need to do something to stop the developers that are destroying our schools. Put your party lines aside. This is not a Republican or a Democrat issue. The kids at this point don't care what party you belong to. They care about getting a good education in a safe environment. They care about being able to afford a home in this town when they graduate from schools that we're paying dearly for. They deserve that. You deserve to have your grandkids, your kids, buy a house in this town without having to worry about shutting out $4,000 a month for taxes. It's insane. So this is not a party line issue. There are a lot of good people up on this stage. We all mean well, but we do have developers in our way, and they need to be stopped so that all our children can live the life that they deserve, and our seniors deserve. Thank you.
Thank you. And the next speaker is Melody Henry.
I want to agree with Pete that there's a lot of good people sitting up here, and we all want the same thing. We want what's best for our residents. I go around and I talk to all our residents. I listen to them, and as I said, I'm running for Ward 1, and there's over 10 adult communities in Ward 1, and there's a lot of residents. We have over 12,000 voters, and some of them are very diverse. We go from farms to the adult community to apartments. So it means being up here doesn't mean I have all the answers tonight, but it means that I'm willing to listen to every one of you and not disrespect any one of you. It should be an open door. We're here for you because we serve you. You would have left us, and we're here to serve you. So I don't know what all the issues are going to be until I sit in that seat, because you're going to tell me what your issues are, and I'm going to make sure, do whatever we need to do, and make sure that we take care of our residents, one resident at a time, and make sure we do what's best for Monroe. So I'd like to be an advocate for all our seniors. I've been doing that now, even when I'm not in council. I go to Rossmont, I go to Concordia, I go to the Ponds, I go to Patriots Path, I go to the Renaissance. I listen to everybody, because the only way I'm going to learn is from every single one of you. And I agree that we have to all work together. And I don't care if you're a Democrat, I don't care if you're Republican, I don't care if you're unaffiliated. That doesn't matter. What matters is what is exactly best for our community. And I think we all want the same thing. And I promise you, I will work for you. So I need your vote. I'm not going to do it without your vote. I need you to vote line B. We have a tremendous team of very educated people and very professional people. And where have we gotten in the last 40 years? We've gotten to the crisis mode here. We need you to help us now. Vote line B.
Thank you. The next speaker is Terrence Manzura.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. Thank you, everyone, for listening this evening. I've been a Monroe resident for 25 years. I've been a practicing attorney for 40 years. Makes me feel like I understand what the needs of our residents are, and I feel address those needs. Now, I, along with the other members of Team Dalina, we all support a strong, safe Monroe. And you know, when it comes to taxes, when it comes to schools and issues, you don't leave a magic wand and suddenly things get better. It gets done by doing it in a smart, intelligent manner. And we have a lot of facts, okay? We are the second lowest tax rate in Middlesex County. We are the fourth safest town in the state of New Jersey. We have a AA+ bond rating. We have great first responders. We have great rec programs for any of you with kids, grandkids out there. Hundreds of kids playing sports every season that there is. We have one of the best senior centers in the state of New Jersey, and this senior center has programs for all of our seniors. Not only that, we provide rides for seniors when they need to go for doctor's appointments and things of that nature. We have great first responders who go out over 10,000 calls a year. Just imagine that. And that's what your taxes go for. That's what you pay for. And despite all of that, we had a tax decrease this year. It was not a tax increase. So when people tell you how the taxes are getting out of hand, I've only been on the council since February. Mayor's been mayor since January. We've had one budget since he's been mayor. I've been councilman. There was a tax decrease. So let's not pretend that we go crazy and things get out of hand. It's called leadership. That's what we offer. Okay? We use our resources. We listen to science and experts when need be for problems that occur, such as COVID and our flooding and things of that nature. We do what needs to get done for our residents. If elected, we will continue to keep Monroe the beautiful town that it is. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Timothy Eosso.
Thank you, everybody, for coming out again. Really appreciate all the community involvement you guys are in. And, of course, thank you to the panel here as well. You know, we talk about character, and we talk about integrity, okay? Why I think I am Monroe Ward 2 Council candidate, the best one for the job, is because I've coached baseball for the last 10 years in Monroe. My kids were young. I was division director. Okay, I was actively involved in the PTO and the PSA in the middle school. I started a transportation program for our seniors, okay, unbeknownst to the administration, because they needed help. Okay, that's character, that's integrity. I have to laugh because my adversary talks about character. Character, okay, is looking someone in the eye who's done something wrong, such as our business administrator, okay, with 3 state ethics violations, and not voting on his contract to say yes. My adversary did. When are we going to stop voting in our friends? You know what? If you don't, I don't want a friend. This is business. This right here to me is business. This is your tax. This is your tax bill. 64% is to schools. My adversary has not even gone to Trenton. She hasn't ruffled the apple cart whatsoever when Ms. Greenstein hasn't been here as a legislator. Okay? We need to do the right thing by our residents. Okay? Get on the steps in Trenton and fight for the largest piece of pie in your tax bill. And that's education. Why are we only getting $6.2 million in education? Why are we getting zero equalization aid? Simply because they don't want to fight for it. But they're taking debt donations from the builders. $1.1 million from Mr. Morris, who's building 2,400 single-family homes. $32,000 from Lennar Builders in Stonebridge, and look what they get. A great flood. It's got to stop. You want someone to do business, I'm your man. Monroe Township Ward 2 Council candidate. I'm the guy who will do it. I have no special interest involved. Thank you.
Thank you. And the next speaker is Charles Dipierro.
Thanks again, everyone, and for putting this event together. And I thank everyone to my right. You all care about this community. We all want to work together. But I'm very honored to be the councilman at Ward 3, and I don't take that lightly. I enjoy it. I ask for your support for our team and vote line B. It's very important that we all have a love in this town. But what's important is your track record. And the track record that I've been here for many years, 40 years as a businessman, and working in this town, going through the community in multiple businesses and building facilities like the 9/11 Memorial Park, which is dear to my heart, and we were just there with the 20-year anniversary. That was a nightmare for all of us. And I got to tell you, it's very moving every time I walk into that park and I see residents there and ones in our families that we lost loved ones there and our friends. But my track record is very strong, and I continue to work hard for all residents of Monroe Township, not just Ward 3. But I asked Ward 3 for their support, and I asked the rest of the community for the support from my fellow running mates, and we're here 7/24. And again, we will not take any money from any developers, and we will not take any money from any professionals and give them something back in return. And as everybody said, do your research. It speaks, the numbers don't lie. They speak large volume in Monroe Township. I know the track record, and I ask for your support for Team 2021, vote line B, and watch the change. Thank you.
Thank you. And the final council speaker is Elizabeth Schneider.
Before I ask for all of you to vote for me, Ward 1, I think it ends when I hear somebody saying I'm taking money. I've never seen a penny. I think it's hypocritical, especially when someone sells real estate and builds, to make such a horrible statement. That's a terrible statement to make to our. We're very honest people. I wouldn't be associated with the Leona Council. This is a wonderful team. We do care. We do support public education. I have nothing but the highest regard for this district, teachers, students, and their achievements. I've served on the Commission for Aging, the Human Relations Commission. I am very concerned with seniors. I am a senior. I live in Rossmore. My house is flooded. I'm living with my daughter. Thank God I have a wonderful daughter. But all I'm asking is, this is a good team, Team Dalina. We are honest. We will think of the town. We will think of all residents. We don't just think of you as a party member. So please, line A, all the way. Thank you.
Now I'm going to be here from the mayoral candidates and the final statements. And first, we're going to hear from Stephen Dalina.
Obviously, thank you all for being here. I'd like to thank everyone on the dais. Honor and privilege to be here with all of you. As the adjunct professor at Rutgers University, when I grade papers, and if you get a clear and concise on it, you get an A. So I will be clear and concise finishing up here. When I was selected as mayor in January, the bipartisan council, it was a unanimous vote for me, and that meant a lot. It provided a focus and a mandate to have a unanimous selection by a bipartisan group. That told me what I needed to do moving forward. So I stand by my philosophy, my record, my disposition, and I will work for all of Monroe Township. I mean, we all want what's best for Monroe. I think we've all heard that. That's been the theme tonight. I'm the best candidate to represent all of you. And to take from fellow Rutgers person, Eric LeGrand, we've said it before tonight, unity and community. That's something that's very near and dear to me. It's been an honor to serve as mayor, and I want to continue that. So I ask for you to support me, as well as Team Dalina, as we move forward in the right direction. Thank you all.
And thank you. And the final speaker for the evening is Steve Martin.
Thank you all, and appreciate everyone coming out tonight. And I would like to look at our master plan that our Democrats have been touting. In 2010, they adopted a master plan, and look what we have. We have overdevelopment, we have crowded roads, and again, the zoning board was controlled by the Democrats. We need change. We need both parties year, as long as we have enforcers and people that will stick to that master plan, we will have a better Monroe. We need to control Route 33. That needs to be an economic engine for Monroe. That needs to be commercial. I was at the master plan meetings, both of them, and every resident I talked to said, no residential building on 33. It resonated that. No residential building. They want a new food store. They want a place where they can gather. They want more restaurants. They want a place to call Monroe's own shopping district. We have a team of business people here. People are giving up their time, their lives to do something better for Monroe. We look at things through dollars and cents, profit and loss. Okay? It's your tax dollars that we have to control, and we have to make those hard decisions on what has to get done. I believe we can do that. Okay? My 28 years of running a multi-million-dollar business and allowing myself to step aside right now to run for office, I would like a chance and your vote in November so I can make a difference and try to control your taxes and make this town better for our students. Thank you.
Thank you. And I really want to thank all of you in behalf of, you're darn lucky. You've got some really great people here, and I think they did a great job, don't you? It did good. And now we'll let you conclude.
Can you hear me? Yeah. I wanted also to thank all the candidates for coming tonight. Thanks to all the participants. A special thanks to our wonderful moderator. And remember that your vote counts. And I especially want to make sure you all know about www.vote411.org. You can look there for information about all the candidates that are running, not only the candidates that are here tonight, but the legislative candidates as well. And you can get information on the ballot issues as well. So thank you all for coming